اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: عليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أؤيدك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة، ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به، وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا ولدي، يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي، ويا صاحب هوذي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا ولدي، ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي، ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عم رسول الله. فقلت نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت هذا الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وهامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يعلمني ما يعلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا هرب لمن هاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس أهل البيت وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أحبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرأك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم قد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु सत्य जाफर साहब का कलाम है। आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें, आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें। आज मौका भी है और फुर्सत भी है, मैं मुखातिब जो हूँ वो भी मौजूद हैं। खुद कलामी नहीं है समात भी है, आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें। मेरा ईमान है, मेरा ऐलान है, आप गायब नहीं बल्कि मौजूद हैं। आप वाकिफ़ भी हैं और कादिर भी हैं। ये बुरा वक्त है, मेरी नुसरत करें। मुझसे बातें करें, मुझको शाबाश दें। मेरी खिदमत की, मेरे किरदार की दाद दीजिए मुझे, मेरी सच्चाई की, मेरे अफकार की, मेरे अशार की। आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें। गर गुनहगार हूँ और खताकार हूँ, तो भी क्या है बशर हूँ, पैगंबर नहीं। मैं न मासूम मुरसल वसी वली, मैं फरिश्ता नहीं, कोई रहबर नहीं। एक शायर हूँ, हक का परस्तार हूँ, और इसी वास्ते बरसरेदार हूँ। नाम पर जो तेरे धोखेबाजी करें, वास्ते उनके शमशीर व तलवार हूँ। आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें। मेरी हस्ती ही क्या, मेरी ताकत भी क्या, आपका साथ है तब हूँ साबित कदम। मैं जो मद्दे मुकाबिल हूँ अशरार के, शामिल हाल है आप ही का करम। मेरी रुदाद को, मेरी फरियाद को कोई सुनता नहीं, किसको आवाज़ दूं। जो भी होता है होने दूं, चुप रहूं। आप फरमाए आका मैं क्या करूं। आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें। अल-मदद अल-मदद अल-अमा अल-अमा, अल-अजल या इमामे ज़मां। टूट पड़ने को हैं हम पर अब बिजलियाँ, ऐ इमामे ज़मां अल-अमा अल-अमा। हमने माना कि हम सब गुनहगार हैं, आपके नाम लेवा है हवदार हैं। आपके नाम लेवा है हुबदार हैं। उनके रहमो करम पर न छोड़े हमें, दुश्मने दीन व मिल्लत जो अशार हैं। आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें। इंतकाम शहीदान करबो बला, देखना है मुझे शाह हर दो सरा। मौत इस शर्त पर मुझको मंजूर है, फिर से मैं जी उठूं आप आ जाएं तो। नग़्मा-ए मवद्दत सुनाता हूँ मैं, आपके आशिकों को लुभाता हूँ मैं। आपकी राह में मौला सजदे करूं और कसीदे पढ़ूं, आप आ जाएं तो। आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें। शायरो सोज़ खां सिब्त जाफ़र हूँ मैं, सबको मालूम है किसका नौकर हूँ मैं मुसीबत में हूँ आप गैबत में हैं क्यों मसाइब सहूँ आप आ जाएं तो आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें आइए अपने मौला से बातें करें बर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Sayyid Hasan Rizvi, respected elders, brothers, sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On the joyous occasion of Eid-e-Zahra, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Managing Committee, we wish you all Kushali Mubarak. Surah Fatiha is requested for all the names listed on the screen and Kul Arwah al-Mu'minin wal-Mu'minat Sawab al-Fatiha. Ayat-e Mayyajibun is requested for all the names listed on the screen and whoever is in need of it here and elsewhere. Let us all recite it together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul mustarra idha da'ah wa yakshifu as-su. Amma yujibul mustarra idha da'ah wa yakshifu as-su. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. IEC Madrasa, in collaboration with Husseini Islamic Center, is holding a fun-filled event next Friday. The event is to honor the holy personalities through eulogies and continue the celebration with games catered for young, old, men and women. The registration link, which was sent out in WhatsApp, also via the email, has been already sent out. Please make sure you register. And the deadline for registration is Monday, October 18th. For the event, we are also raising funds. Please donate generously towards this noble cause. Now let us invite Sayyid to come forward and recite tonight's Majlis. Par Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع المذنبين رحمة للعالمين سيدنا والنبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا والطبيب ذنوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين المكرمين الخيرين الفاضلين السيدين الصادقين سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء الذين أذهب الله عنهم رجسا وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد صلوات الله محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد مؤمنين مؤمنات brothers and sisters in Islam and Iman Salamun alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Eid Mubarak to all of you. We are going to have a quiz eventually, but first there's just one quick hadith that I want to go through. I'm not going to spend too much time, and then we'll jump right into the quiz. And then at the end of the quiz, there's also a short poll or survey as well. So this hadith, of course, because of tonight's occasion, on the 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal, this hadith comes from the Imam of our time, Imam al-Mahdi, Imam Sahib al-Asri wa zaman, ajilallahu ta'ala farajuhu sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajah. And he's speaking to one of his companions about, we have all these different narrations from the 12th Imam regarding the status or the status, the level, the characteristics of Shias. And a lot of people, when it comes to the topic of the Imam of the time, usually their main question is, how do we do intidhar? How do we wait? What are we supposed to do? How do we prepare ourselves? All of that, right? And there's general information that you and we've pretty much heard over and over again, right? That our sins or our deeds are put in front of the Imam, so we have to stop sinning, then the Imam will return, right? We hear stuff like that. That hidayat from the Imam is still coming to us even though we don't physically witness it, right? It's the sun behind the clouds, all that. We talked a little bit about that last night. And, sometimes we talk about the signs of the dhuhr, all right, different topics. So this hadith it's related to something we talked about last night, but it's a bit more direct. So I wanted to mention it because I think it is relevant. So he's speaking to this, companion named Muhammad ibn Ali. So he says, Ya Muhammad ibn Ali, قَدْ آذَانَا جُهَلَاءُ الشِّيعَةِ وَحُمَقَاؤُهُم. He says that the juhala of the Shia, the ignorant Shias, and the humaqahum, the ones that, the dumbest of them, the ones who are the most stupid, the idiots of the Shias, basically. These are the ones who annoy us. He's using the verb adha. They do aziyat. They bother us, they annoy us, they harm us, and they hurt us. And then there's another group he mentions as well. وَمَنْ دِينَهُ جَنَاحُ الْبَعُودَ أَرْجَحُ مِنْهُ. So he says that the ignorant Shias, they bother us. The ones who are basically the dumbest, the most stupid, they bother us, they annoy us as well. And the ones who, for them, deen or religion is lighter, or it's less important, or it's not as heavy, or put it this way, what's heavier than deen for these individuals are the wings of a mosquito. So they give absolutely no importance to deen, right? It's there, but it's very, very light, right? So you can see the analogy here. Now the reason I wanted to mention this hadith is because it is related to very similarly what we mentioned from the 11th Imam last night, Imam Hasan al-Askari alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. That it's usually, we sometimes have outside influences or oppressors that will, interfere with our iman and our spiritual growth. But we also have a lot of times in our hadith, and if you look in Shia history, one of the biggest obstacles to our own growth is us, ourselves. We are the biggest obstacle to our growth sometimes. And Imam Mahdi here specifically is saying the ones that damage us, that harm us, or another way to say it is that annoy us, that bother us a lot, are the ones who are dumb. Dumb Shias. And again, forgive the language, and I'm just translating the Arabic as it is. This is language used constantly by the Ahlul Bayt, where they talk about Muslims or Shia specifically who are dumb, who are stupid, who are idiots. Now, what does that mean? Well, there's different discussions about how that could be. For example, I'll just give one related to another narration from Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi salatu wassalam. And he's reported to have said, Man istahyi min qawl al-haq, whoever has haya, right? Whoever feels modest or is ashamed of, from qawl al-haq, from actually speaking the truth, fahuwa ahmaq. That person's an idiot. That person's a fool. That person's stupid. Right? Strong words from the Imam. But sometimes we know we need some of these strong words to kind of get things kick-started for us. A lot of us, especially in this society, given all the different variables that exist, which we can discuss at maybe some other time, we do feel ashamed at times in expressing the truth. And there's different reasons. Right? We gave some last night. Sometimes the reason that we feel ashamed expressing the actual truth, the truth of the Ahlul Bayt, for example, of what we believe as mainstream traditional Shias. You want to talk about tawassul, for example, or shafa'ah, or talk about our beliefs of the Imam's access to ilmul ghaib, or various things that we've grown up with and we've heard from the beginning. And now when people call it into question, we don't know what to say. We have no response to these individuals. Well, that means we don't know what we're talking about. All we know is we have a belief system, but we don't have a strengthened belief system. We have no idea why we're following it. And that's a problem because people are making us look like fools. Again, it's people from our own circles who are calling these things into question. And there are so many other concepts too. Again, almost every year, especially in Ramadan, I get the questions about la'na, right? Because on the night of Qadr, on specific nights, we go through the la'an. Or when it comes to ziyarah Ashura, the la'an are there. And people are still questioning it. Oh, this is a religion of love and happiness and all that stuff. Why are we cursing people or condemning them? Shouldn't we just forgive everybody? Isn't that what Allah's about? We have years and years of all these lectures and books and traditions, but still people are confused about this. And again, I'm not saying that people who are questioning and asking these questions and who are curious and open-minded, I'm not saying that these are examples of stupid Shias. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that it's regrettable for all of us who claim to be part of the ummah of the final and last Imam, the one who's supposed to save humanity, and we have no idea what his ideology is. We're all here like, yeah, we're ready for you to save us all. Like, okay, fine. But do you know based on what ideology he's going to save us? We know from the famous hadith that he says that he will rise with the same sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Okay. So then that means we need to understand his sunnah as well. So again, another question related to the 12th Imam that I get constantly, and people ask, they say, is this supposed to be some violent, bloody revolution? We hear that he comes with a sword in his hand, and he has to go kill ulama first, right? He's going to cut their heads off. He's going to attack them, and then he's going to go spread justice. What's going on here? I thought Islam was peace, right? Islam is peace, Muslims peace, Salam is peace, everything's peace, peace, peace. So this doesn't make sense. Because it's the enemies who say, oh, Islam was spread by the sword. You guys are all violent people. So now, if we have hadith of the 12th Imam who's saying the same thing, this doesn't sound good for us. How are you going to defend that? The go-to thing nowadays is, it's probably a weak narration, right? Let's just toss it out. It's a weak one. That's the easy go-to answer when you don't know what the actual answer is. But the only way somebody would begin to start answering the question about the sunnah or the method of the dhuhur and the uprising and the revolution of the 12th Imam is if they understood the sunnah and the uprising of Rasulullah. So the question, I'm not going to answer it tonight, but it's something for us to think about. Was Rasulullah's movement a violent, bloody revolution or something like that? Was there any bloodshed involved? There was battles, obviously. But how do we describe them? How do we answer them? A lot of times we haven't, figured out the answers for that. If we didn't get the answers about the Prophet, then how would we be able to answer it regarding the 12th Imam? If you remember, before the month of, I almost said Ramadan, before Muharram and Safar started, we were going through this, kind of shortened commentary on this dua, right? Zamanul Ghaiba. Allahumma arifni nafsak. Right? So we talked about this three-pronged or three-step process to becoming a mu'min who's ready for the ghaiba. Because that's what everybody wants to know. How do I get ready? We've been talking about that. He says the first is you need to understand Tawheed the way that Allah wants us to understand Tawheed. And then the next part of the dua is that, okay, Allah, give me ma'rifah of your Rasul. I need to understand Rasulullah first. What is his sunnah? How do prophets and messengers, what do they do when they're sent down? Only after I understand Tawheed, or what we call sunnat ilahi, the way that Allah does what he does, after I understand that, then I can jump to, okay, now why he sends messengers and how do his representatives act when they're here. Then finally, after that, Allahumma arifni hujjatak. Now I can understand your hujjah. If I didn't understand your Rasul, then there's no way I could understand your hujjah. Again, not imam, but your hujjah. If we don't go in that specific order, you and I are going to be lost, without a doubt. We are going to be these dumb, stupid Shias, as the imam's saying. And we will end up engaging and causing damage to the ummah more than anybody else will. And that's why you have sometimes people innocently asking questions, which is fine, be curious, that's good. But we have to be able to set up these systems on how to answer it. We have to be able to take that next step, and as we quoted the Imam last night, Imam Ali, that we have to be able to engage in some sabr. We have to, break out of our comfort zone a little bit so that we can increase in our ma'rifah, in our ilm, be educated Shias. We don't want to be grouped with these dumb Shias that the Imam's calling out. There is, again, I don't want to go into a full history lesson, but some of the qualities that the dumb Shias of the past, they would do is when they would get direct orders from the Ahlul Bayt. They would say, for example, keep our secrets to yourself. Things that you know that other people are going to attack you for or call you out for, keep them to yourself. What you would see is that even the time of the Prophet and Imam Ali, you would have Shias who would go to Syria, to Sham, where it wasn't an area where there was many followers of the Ahlul Bayt. They didn't understand the Ahlul Bayt. They would go out in the open and talk about the fada'il and the secrets of the Ahlul Bayt. And because of that, Shias would be oppressed in Sham because of that. Even now, you see, again, people who are, they're loudmouths, we'll put it that way, who are opening up too many discussions when it shouldn't be opened up. Not everyone is ready for every single type of discussion. Some of these deeper conversations on Islamic concepts, they're not easy to handle. They can be very, very difficult. The answers we get are very difficult sometimes. Even when it comes to, for example, again, I don't want to mention specifically, but think about any of the controversial issues that a typical Islamophobe would bring up, right? Questions about the personality of Rasulullah, about what he did during his time, about what somebody from Ahlul Sunnah, what they might question about what we believe about the Imams and their abilities. Some of those things are hard to swallow. They're hard to fathom. And us, if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it. That's okay. But then it's probably better you don't engage in a discussion or a debate then, right? Don't go online. Don't go in a WhatsApp group. Don't start spreading information out. Don't do anything like that because you're just going to be digging yourself, right, a hole that you can't get out of. And I've seen many individuals who come to me and say, oh, Hasan, I need your help. Okay, what kind of help do you need? Well, I got stuck in a debate with, this atheist and my atheist professor. Or I got stuck in a debate with, a Sunni coworker. Or I got stuck in a debate with, my cousin or my uncle or my aunt who is Shia, but they believe in XYZ. And they gave me this thing, and I don't know how to respond to it. I said, look, if you didn't do full research, if you weren't educated on the subject, why did you engage them in the first place? The easiest response to somebody, no matter what, whether they're atheist or agnostic, Christian, Jew, Shia, Sunni, Scientologist, Jedi, Knight, whatever they are, whatever religion they follow, whatever they do, if you're not qualified to respond, say, look, if you, the person who is questioning you, if you are actually interested in, having the question answered, why don't you ask somebody who's actually studied it? Go to a sheikh, go to an imam, go to a scholar, and, let them answer it. Why would you just ask some random follower, right? Now, sometimes those followers are educated about it. Like, for example, those who attended the Secrets of Salah workshop. Now, they would be able to discuss with their family or their friends, in this workshop we learned that this is what the Takbiratul Ihram is for. This is what ruku means. This is what sujood means. Because they took the time, they attended a 2-day workshop, they took notes, and alhamdulillah, was very beneficial for those who attended. And now they can answer some of those things because they did the talash, did the zahma, they did the work. Otherwise, you won't be able to answer those kind of questions. And that's an easier one, right? That's not a controversial one. Nobody's losing their iman because they don't know why, Maghrib is 3 rakats. That's not why people are confused. It's those other main questions. So, as we celebrate this 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal, and the reason I'm not mentioning what it is because it's going to come on the quiz. as we want to celebrate this day, as we call ourselves the Shia of the Imam of the time, the 12th Imam, if we're asking this question, what do I do? What should I do in terms of this intidhar? How do I expedite the process? How do I get the 12th Imam back? Say, look, if the 12th Imam returns right now, do you think that he'd be in a position where the Shias would actually help him and protect him and support him? Or do you think that even well-intentioned Shias who want to protect him and help him and support him and do well with his mission, do you think that because of their ignorance, because of their stupidity, because they don't know what they're doing, they don't understand Islam very well, because of their actions, they might actually put the Imam in danger? Where do you think we stand right now? And if you're not sure, and hopefully either you're not sure or you know that, look, we'd probably mess up. We'd probably get the Imam killed right now. If that's the case, then definitely our first step should be, how should we really educate ourselves? How do we take the next step in increasing our iman, our ma'rifah, and gaining a proper understanding of our own faith? Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So if you want to tagline this, it's, I make a pledge on this day that I do not want to be a dumb Shia, right? Don't quote me on that, but I mean, I'm just using the Imam's words. We don't want to be dumb Shias. Inshallah, hopefully none of us are like that, and Allah makes this day the first day where we take the steps necessary so that we can be the intelligent, aqil, wise ones, the ones with proper wisdom and insight and basira, so we know exactly how to grow our own spirituality, our connection to the Imam. We do this for our families and then extend it out to the community at large as well. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Okay, so let's jump to the quiz. So Slido is back, HIC ORL. I hope it should be ready, I think. You can start logging. There we go. Assalamu alaikum to dumb Muslim. Very good. Assalamu alaikum to F, to DGNC, Sabah, Fatima A, Austin, Sakina, Abu Lu'lu, Communication, Eid Mubarak. Oh man, you guys are hilarious. ZKQ. What is that? Nah, I forgot what ZKQ was supposed to be. Khair. Muzammil Jan Muhammad, specialists. Let's wait another a few seconds. Jedi Knight, Hasan. Hani, Jessa. Yusuf Ali. ST, Saint. Is that what ST is? WS is what? Wa alaikum salam. Muhammad Abbas, Qambar, Prakash Patel. Aristotle. Who don't quote me on that. Yusuf Ali. We hit 30. Technically, no, yeah, we don't have to wait till 40. I think 30 is good enough. Okay, let's get started, inshallah. Oh, 5 just jumped in. My name is, and we have 313. IDK, good answer. I don't know, good. Python gamer. Okay, first, in the ahadith, what is the 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal known as? Eid-e-Zahra, Eid-e-Shuja', Eid-al-Ghadir al-Thani, second Ghadir, Yom Raf'ul-Qalam, I should say Qalam, but it's okay. Eid-al-Akbar, Eid Sajjad, Eid Mukhtar. Well, it says Mukhtar, whatever, it's okay. It should be Mukhtar. All of the above or none of the above? So, and I believe that you should be able to select multiple, possibly, because there might be multiple, maybe not. We can hear you, but so 37 out of 38. Oh, it's good. Now it tells out of how many people have actually answered. 74% of you have said that it is Eid-e-Zahra, and that is an incorrect answer. In the ahadith, that's why I changed it. In the ahadith, it's not mentioned as Eid-e-Zahra in the ahadith. There are two, well, there's one hadith, some divide it into two. Regardless, it's been mentioned in two ways. Some, in one riwayah, it's known as Eid al-Akbar, or as this day of Rufi' al-Qalam, or the qalam and the pen is lifted. So Eid al-Zahra is not mentioned. It's a name that was kind of attached on afterwards. Now, This hadith that talks about Raful Qalam and Eid al-Akbar, most scholars wouldn't really call this an authentic tradition in the first place, but that's why it is said in the hadith. Eid-e-Zahra is a name that you and I have attached, right? Actually, no, I can't answer anything because I think the second question, I almost gave the answer for the second one. I have to stop myself. Okay, let's go to the second one then. It's okay. There we go. What is the significance of the 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal? That's why I didn't want to give the answer. Rasulullah's birthday, Ayatollah Sistani's birthday, beginning of Imam Mahdi's imamah, Imam Hussein's killers brought to justice by Mukhtar, death of a companion who oppressed the Ahlul Bayt, end of the Azadari and mourning period, none of the above, or all of the above. And again, I think you should be able to select multiple ones, if I'm not mistaken. If there are multiple answers, at least. Okay, I think 6 more left to answer. 5 more. 3. 2. Oh, no, now we have 3 more, yeah. No, 2 more, yeah. 40, 41. Okay, the last 2. Oh, there we go. 1 more person. We're waiting on you. What, are you trying to Google it? Just, come on, end it. This person's trying to cheat. Okay. Okay. So, 3% of you said Rasulullah's birthday. Now, I'll give you partial credit because there is one riwayah they say that does say one of the possible dates of Rasulullah's birthday is the 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal. And this is why Imam Khomeini, Qaddasallahu sirru, when he had established this idea of the week of unity, Haftay Wahdat, he said we should start it from the 9th of Rabi and then continue on till the 17th, right? Because all the different narrations between the Shias and Sunnis fall within that timeline, right? So he said, so let's celebrate it. That's why they have the conferences in Iran now, right? That Wahdat Unity Conference, they have it around this time. 15% of you said Ayatollah Sistani's birthday, which is one of the correct answers. Yes, so he was born on the 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal, so happy birthday, Ayatollah Sistani. May Allah give him a long life, inshallah, and all of our marajih. The beginning of Imam Mahdi's imamah. That's why I didn't want to say anything. Yes. So in terms of the narrations, this is the possibly most likely reason why we are celebrating today. Why? Because obviously last night, we commemorated the shahada of our 11th Imam, Imam Hasan al-Askari, alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. And in the strangest fashion that Shias, because we are a strange group, the Imam just died, and then all of a sudden we switched from black to, the rainbow colors that I see in front of me. It's strange, but again, we do some weird things, I guess, right? So the Imam, 11th Imam, the famous narration is that he died on the 8th of Rabi-ul-Awwal, right? He died at Fajr time. So technically, the Imamat of the 12th Imam began then, right? At Fajr this morning Fajr, 9th of Rabi-ul-Awwal. 8th of Rabi-ul-Awwal, right? So this past Fajr. Some say the reason that scholars or people push it to the 9th is say, we want to give, 12 hours to mourn. I don't know. I can't really, it doesn't make sense to me, so I can't really give you the reasoning. But they say, look, we got to at least give some hours to mourn, and then, let's wait till Maghrib, and then we can switch colors from black to whatever else. I don't understand it, but khair, it's okay. So we're getting to that too. Hasan, thank you. So the next option, or the next possibility that some say, is that Imam Hussein alayhi salam's killers, specifically Umar ibn Sa'd, la'anatullah alayh, was brought to justice by Mukhtar. And they say that this is why some people call it Eid-e-Zahra, because they say that the news of the death of Umar or some other individuals who were perpetrators of Karbala, that news of their capture and killing by Mukhtar reached the Imams in Medina, and that this is the first day the Imams smiled. So they say that this was a day of happiness for for Imam Sajjad, and of course all of the Ahlul Bayt, or for Bibi Fatima. So over there we say, look, historically it doesn't make any sense because Mukhtar's movement started somewhere mid Rabi-ul-Awwal. So there's no way it could have happened in this timeline, so that doesn't really make sense. The next possibility that some have given is the death of a companion, right? Specifically Umar ibn al-Khattab, who we understand oppressed the Ahlul Bayt. So some individuals say that this is a day of happiness that we should be celebrating. Now, the Marajah have said this is not something that Shia should be engaging in, right? These celebration ceremonies for the death of a companion that's revered by, the Ahlul Sunnah. Now, of course, we don't revere the first three khulafa. We don't revere them, and that's fine. But at the same time, we have fatwa from the maraji that there is a certain level of dignity and respect that we have to show. Meaning that, we don't insult. If we want to talk about history, we talk about history. There's nothing wrong with that. We can talk about the oppression that they did commit, that they violated the orders of Rasulullah. There's nothing wrong with that. That they went against the Imam of the time, Imam Ali. That they abused and attacked Bibi Fatima. We can discuss this. It's historical. But this idea of people, what they do in some places of commemorating, because he was, according to some, assassinated, he was murdered. Celebrating the assassination or murder of Umar, it's a little, I don't know. I don't want to say it's classless, but Mawarij definitely have not recommended this. They said this is not something that Shia should be engaging in. On top of that, they say that the likely date of his death is in Dhul Hijjah, not in Rabi-ul-Awwal. So some scholars have said that some people have famously commemorated or said that he had died on this day, but there doesn't seem to be strong evidence for that. But yeah, many will, again, unfortunately commemorate it on this day. The other is the end of Azadari in mourning period. Although technically that should have been selected as the correct answer. Yes, because now what we've done is when we've extended the Azadari period up until the 8th of Rabi, right, till the Shahada of Imam Askari, then we say, okay, now officially this is where it ends. So technically that would be a correct answer too, but it's okay. I know your niyat, so I'll give you the points, inshallah, don't worry. That's it. Okay, so now that's the quiz. Let's go. The last one is just a poll, a survey. So if you remember, we were talking about different ideas of what we may want to do on the... Yeah, is it a question? Oh, it is a question. Hasan. Okay, sorry. There's a quiz and then one poll. So one more quiz question. Hasan, thank you. I forgot. There we go. Simple one. What does Mahdi mean? Source of guidance, the guide, the rightly guided, all of the above, or none of the above? A few more people to answer. But I think, yeah, we can go ahead. If you didn't get it by now, then we don't want you to Google it. Hasan. So most of you got it right. It's the rightly guided. That's what Mahdi means. And hopefully, you know that, this was on some of the Slido quizzes we had a long time ago as well, a couple months ago. So hopefully you remembered it from there. Okay, so now that ends the quiz. Let's see who won before we go to the poll. KQ, which is, I guess, Kenyan Queen. Congratulations to the Kenyan Queen. Specialist, oh, you all did horrible. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, you all did pretty bad. Okay, so nobody won today. I guess the Imam at the time wouldn't be happy then, technically, right, based on what I said before. Okay, that's okay. Although the first and second place, the Kenyan Queen and Specialist tied for first place because they both got the first question right in 37 seconds. It was difficult, but it's okay. The whole point was that for Shias, they should be able to answer the difficult questions, right? That's, I guess, the meaning. But also, I guess, good job to everybody else. Now, the poll. We talked about this, one Thursday out of the month, what do we want to do? So we're still discussing logistics, but at least in terms of the topics and subject areas, I want to see what your ideas are. So what topics and subject areas should we focus on and hold special, in-depth, interactive sessions one Thursday monthly? Oh, that was fast. Okay, so yeah, you can keep, it's only one person so far. So one option is contemporary issues, right? Issues that we keep hearing people, like we'd mentioned tonight. People are confused about, people are calling into question, we have shock, we have doubt, we want to hear more in-depth explanations. Things like tawassul, proofs of God's existence, Muslim identity in the West, divine justice, the problem of good and evil, religion and science, feminism, right? Or latna, like I mentioned. All of these things that keep constantly coming up, or like ilmul ghayb, any of those kind of ideas, right? Shia kind of stuff, in a sense. But it doesn't have to be Shia-specific stuff. It could be anything. That's one option. Another option is fiqh and legal issues specifically. People always ask, last night we were talking, the topic of rabbits came up. Somebody asked, why are rabbits haram? Well, first, are rabbits haram? And according to Eid-e-Zahra, rabbits are haram, right? You can't eat them. They asked why, so, I didn't know offhand, so I had to do a little bit of research. So sometimes we want to know, okay, how do the Marajik come to their conclusions? What are the reasons behind specific issues? So for example, music is a big one that comes up, moon sighting, people still ask or talk about gambling, chess, all this stuff. So we can pick one specific fatwa or issue and then go a bit more in depth and talk about how the maraja reach their conclusions, right? And a short informed of it. I can't go in depth, obviously, that in depth. And then we give some of the narrations regarding that fatwa, and some of the differences of opinion. Another possibility is to go through Quranic tafsir. And one idea is not going through surahs, because that'll take a long time, but going through specific ayat that you and I know, we recognize, we discuss. For example, every program we're going through Amma Yujib. What is the tafsir? What does that mean? Why do we recite that for somebody who's sick or marid? Why do we go through that? Well, maybe we should go through the tafsir and see what some of the explanations are. Or ayat al-tathir, for example, or various different ayat that we all know or we're familiar with, but maybe we've heard different explanations of that. So we want to get to the bottom of it, right? Everybody's favorite ayah, la ikraha fid din, right? There's no compulsion in religion. So they say, oh, if there's no compulsion, we can't force anybody to do anything. So these Islamic countries, they can't force people to wear hijab or, all these other things. Well, is that the proper interpretation of the ayah, or are we messing around with it? So that's one example, another possibility. Or we can do a tafsir of something like dua kumail. I should have said duas in general. But dua kumail is one option. We can do the dua, like after Maghrib, dua after Isha, those kind of duas, things like that. So these are their examples. We can leave this poll open and see, we won't close this one. So far, it seems like people want to go through these contemporary issues. But we'll see. We'll leave it open. We'll see what people decide, inshallah. And then as, we discuss what the best logistics for this will be, then we'll update you all, inshallah. So before we end then, just a reminder that some of these topics we end up discussing sometimes on Sunday mornings for our Fajr breakfast. So for those of you who want to attend, it's, at least for this Sunday, it's at 6:45 now. So it's not that early, I guess, relatively speaking. So 6:45, we hope to see more of you there for our short discussion on akhlaq and self-building. Then breakfast, and then we have a open discussion outside for a couple hours. Also, for those who have been following the broadcast and the weekly, our book club will be starting Monday night. The first session is going to be at 9 p.m. And the book that people have voted on is that book by A. Halwa, Secrets of Divine Love. So that'll be the book that we'll be discussing, inshallah. Technically, registration is closed, but if you can find the link and you want to join, we'll close registration basically on Monday night, right? So if you show up to that first session, then you're good to go, basically. So please do that, inshallah. And then there may be some other programs coming up soon as well. Obviously, they advertise the various programs coming next weekend. And then we'll think about what topic we want to restart for our Thursday nights. So people have been giving me different ideas, but anybody who has their own idea of what you'd like to discuss again as we go through a new session on Thursday nights, please share your ideas with me, and we'll begin that, inshallah. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
والصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله محمد وآل محمد صلوا على محمد يا نبي سلام عليكم يا علي سلام عليكم حسن وفاطمة پر صلوات الله عليكم عليكم. Please stand up to pay respect to our Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May I please request you to stand up, please? Those who can sleep or who can stand. لبریز जिसका सीना आज शौक हैदरी है मुँह उसका रोज़ मशहर जो माह अनवरी है या सलाम अलैकुम या अली सलाम अलैकुम फातिमा पर सलावातुल्लाह बाज़ात पाके हैदर निस्बत नहीं किसी को इस वास्ते अली को शान पैगंबरी है सलाम या अली सलाम अलैकुम हसन फातिमा पर मोरे नबूवत ऊपर जिसने कदम धरा है इंसाफ करके उसको किसको बराबरी है या अली सलाम अलैकुम फातिमा पर सलाम मेराज की हकीकत अब यारों को वकू है परदेश से हाथ निकला जिसमें अंगुष्तरी है बिस्तर नबी के ऊपर सर को निसार करके खुश वक्त सो रहा है कैसी दिलावरी है या अली सलाम अलैकुम हसन खैबर का दर उखाड़ा एक हमले से अली ने क्या पंजाए विलायत जोरे गजनफरी है तारीफ किससे होवे वो सैयदुन्निसा है खिदमत में जिसको मरियम मुझ कर लिए कड़ी है अलैकुम मुश्किल हमें पड़ी है मुश्किल कुशा तुम ही हो या मज़हर अल-अजाइब ये वक्त यावरी है या नबी सलाम अलैकुम या अली सलाम अलैकुम हसन फातिमा पर सलावातुल्लाह अलैकुम अल-फातिहा मा सलावातुल्लाह
Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Assalamu alaikum ya Fatima al-Zahra. Assalamu alaikum ya Khadija al-Kubra. Assalamu alaikum ya Hasan al-Mujtaba. Assalamu alaikum ya Hussein al-Shahid Karbala. وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذريتك علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن عجل الله فرجه وسهل الله مخرجه وظهوره. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم كل وليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توأ وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.